On we marched, back up the road, nearer and nearer to the front. Stragglers still in retreat down the slopes stopped in amazement, changed direction and ran to join us. Men lying exhausted on the roadside jumped up, cheered and joined the ranks. I looked back beneath the forest of upraised fists. What a strange band! Unshaven, unkempt, bloodstained, grimy, but full of fight again, and marching on the road back. Good morning, I'm Pep and this is the Spanish Civil War. In this channel and for the next 3 years, we will follow the Spanish Civil War week by week with its battles and the Holocaust that it provoked. Before starting this week's episode, I would like to apologize for the delay on the publication of the videos. As you may know, I'm a childcare worker and this YouTube channel is my hobby. This summer has been very intense at work and it really overwhelmed me. I ended up a bit stressed. But, as Lenda Cari Aguirre will say in a couple of months from now, not a step back. The channel is alive. I will continue posting videos, but I'll take it easy. I'm going on holidays for a couple of weeks, so next video won't come until mid-September. Thanks for your patience and your support. Last week, we've covered the nationalist advance towards Málaga, under Queipo de Llano and the Italian general Mario Roatta. Their operations were slowed due to the bad weather and could not proceed with their advance until last Thursday. This week we'll see how Queipo's operation progresses. But by the title of this episode, you may already guess what follows this week too. With Queipo's ongoing offensive last week, we've talked too about some minor operations in Euskal Herria and the center. This week, these operations in the center stop being small as one of the bloodiest battles of the Spanish Civil War starts, the Battle of the Jarama, with an ulterior attempt by the nationalist forces to seize Madrid. So, let's go to the fray. We'll start with Málaga offensive. Last week, the Republican defenders could not withstand the blow when Queipo and Roatta's troops resumed their operations. This week, the fighting down there is getting more intense as the nationalist forces approach the city. By the 2nd of February, even if the loyalist forces managed to stop the nationalists at Las Merinas, Largo Caballero, Spain, PM, orders that no more supplies are to be sent towards the city. Valencia's government is certain that Málaga will fall. That same day, Queipo de Llano will sign the order for the attack against Málaga, as Roatta did last week. As he's doing so, Franco is already traveling to Sevilla in order to supervise what is going on. According to von Richthofen, Chief of Staff of the Legion Condor, nothing is known about the Italians. Franco knows nothing either. He ought to go to Sevilla to put himself in the picture and hope for a share of the laurels. In fact, Franco is not very interested in that Málaga operation. His mind is still focused on Madrid, the capital, that salient that any general would like to cut off. But he's worried that this all-Málaga campaign that has been Queipo's and Roatta's brainchild could become a success for Mussolini and the radio star general. And as Richthofen just said, Franco needed to put himself in that picture. By the 3rd, the last push towards Málaga starts, with Bourbon's troops attacking through Ronda but being temporarily stopped at Ojén. Meanwhile, the Italians of the CTV advance toward the Zafarraya port that will fall under fascist hands by the 5th. That same day, Bourbon's troops that are following the coast and suffered a bit to capture Ojén that fell the 4th will seize Fuengirola too. The 6th, the Italians make an astonishing advance that does not allow the loyalist forces to regroup. The mountain passes of Zafarraya that control the road towards Almería are under their hands, but they continue to push until they reach Almogia, Villanueva de la Concepción and the Lion Pass, just 5 kilometers away from Malaga. With the Italians at Ventas de Zafarraya and heading towards the city suburbs, the order for the evacuation of Malaga is issued. We will follow this evacuation with the Malaga-Almería road already under range of the Italian fire next week. During this celere advance, side note here, celere is the word for speedy in Italian. In fact, Mario Roatta was a proponent of the guerra celere, or speedy war, the Italian own war of movement. Well, during this celere advance, Roatta will be wounded. Franco, as said, visits the front on the 5th, and after considering that the city is already doomed, he travels back towards the center. He has been rethinking lately on how to take Madrid. When we covered the nationalist advance towards Madrid back in November, we've mentioned that there were different plans in order to seize the city. One of them consisted in enveloping the city, advancing from the west towards the north, and then through the Jarama. This plan was proposed by Yahweh and implied a war over the ridges of the Jarama, fighting for the mountain passes, with all the supply issues that these may have caused. Therefore, it was discarded. Another plan pretended to cross the Manzanares. Well, this plan is the actual plan that was carried on back on November, the one that we actually saw failing. The third plan, proposed by the Francoist head of the Air Force, the monarchist Kindelan, argued for an attack towards the Jarama in order to cut off the Valencia-Madrid road and make the supply situation for the salient even worse. Well, Franco has been preparing his troops in order to launch Kindelan's plan. The attack will be carried on by the reinforced Madrid division under Orgaz Yoldi, whom we've seen with the division at the head of the Francoist attack during the Third Battle of the A Coruña Road. The division is composed by 5 brigades under Rada Peral, Saiz de Burruaga, Barrón, Cabanillas, and Escámez. All of them are seasoned troops, among them the feared legionarios and Moors that have been fighting in Madrid during the last month. They will be accompanied by Italian and German planes, plenty of artillery, and up to 55 German tanks. Among the troops of the reinforced Madrid division that will participate in this battle of the Jarama River, we can find also the Irish Legion of the fascist Ian O'Duffy. Opposing them, we can find 3 Republican divisions commanded by Walter, Gall, and Lister. Walter and Gall divisions had within 2 international brigades. In overall command of these 3 loyalist divisions, there is Burillo's Toll. The troops are supported by the Republican Air Force and Pavlov's T-26. In fact, this is a nourished force that could possibly break the enemy attack. This huge concentration of troops is due to the fact that the Loyalist High Command has been preparing its own offensive in that area too. In fact, they've just had to postpone it due to the weather, and the Francoists roll the die first. The 6th of February, the Battle of the Jarama starts with the nationalist forces managing to seize their objectives for the day. Rada's 1st and Barrón 3rd brigades advance towards the northeast, and after neutralizing 2 Republican battalions, they seize Cabeza Fuerte Hill and then move towards La Marañosa. Saiz de Burruaga's 2nd Brigade that leaves Pinto dislodges the loyalist troops from González de Arriba as he progresses towards the Jarama River. Asensio's 4th Brigade marches towards San Martín de la Vega, dislodging every Republican defense it finds on his way. Finally, Escámez 5th Brigade, in order to protect the right flank of the nationalist offensive, will move towards Cienpozuelos. By the end of the first day of the battle, there are no Republican troops of entity left at the left bank of the Jarama. The Francoist offensive is on full swing. By the end of the week, on the 7th, our Republican reinforcements, among them the international brigades, are sent to stop the Francoist advancing forces. Barrón reaches the junction between the Jarama and the Manzanares rivers at Rivas de Vaciamadrid. From this position, the Francoist artillery can shell the Valencia-Madrid road. We start our episode with IRA member Frank Ryan's description of the advance of the international brigades towards the front. But wait, with Duffy's Irish with the nationalist, and the Connolly column inside the Lincoln Battalion, it seems we are about to witness yet another Irish Civil War inside the Spanish Civil War. But we'll have to wait until the next week in order to see how the Battle of the Jarama develops. This week, we don't have so much to say regarding the international sphere. We already talked about the developments of the non-intervention plan last week, and this week we'll see the publication of the British Control Plan that need to be approved by the other members of the non-intervention committee. We'll have to wait in order to see what happens though. If the Jarama battle decides the war, Hitler and Mussolini just need to gain a couple of weeks. So we'll see. On the Republican rearguard, this week we have to mention two very significant events that took place. The Republic not only meant a fight against illiteracy, it also meant a step forward in terms of gender equality, from the right to vote to the juridical equality that the Republican Minister of Justice, still under an anarchist, approved this week. Yes, since the 4th of February 1937, women and men will be considered equal on Republican-controlled territory. But even if I could say the main feat, this is not the only thing that happened this week, as the 1st of February, the Workers' Institute of Valencia, remember that Valencia is the actual capital of the Republic, starts its classes. It is meant to be an educative institution for the best anti-fascist workers. The most prestigious teachers in Spain will pass through the Instituto during the next years. On the other side of Spain, a radio show seems to unveil some certain cracks inside Francoist territory. The 2nd of February, a group of phalangists radiates from Radio Castilla a speech José Antonio Primo de Rivera made 1 year earlier, the 2nd of February 1936, in the context of the electoral campaign. In that speech, Primo de Rivera criticized both left and right, and Franco's censorship did not approve that. With this symbolical challenge to Franco's authority, we reach the end of the week. Queipo is already at the gates of Marbella, and the Jarama battle starts to rage, with two well-equipped armies facing each other. As said at the beginning of this episode, I'll be off for a couple of weeks, taking my well-deserved holidays, so don't expect next video until half September. Thanks for your patience and support. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe. If you enjoyed it, share it. We have to bring light to the history of Spain. If you're able to support us in our Patreon channel, as these heroes already did, or offer us a coffee, this would also be great and would help us to carry on and improve the project. Let's make this possible together. Thanks for your attention, goodbye, and salute.